Hey guys, this is the week 2 video for your NTI instruction, and I've had to post all the assignments early because administration has asked us to, but please don't feel that you need to do them all at the same time or all at once. Just do them at your own pace, but I do hope that you can get them turned in by the Friday of each week. But I hope that your families are, managing this chaos and as far as employment and everyone still having a job and everything like that. And if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out during this time that we are off. We're supposed to, have contact with you at least once a week. So if you haven't sent me anything this week or you haven't heard from me this week, shoot me a text or an email, and we'll get in contact with each other. So the main goal for these assignments for this week is pretty simple. It's the end of World War I. You just have the Treaty of Versailles assignment with the chart and the PDF to help you with it, and then the World War I quiz on Google Forms. So you can use your notes with that, but I really want you to try and do as much as you can without your notes because I want to see what you can remember and retain from what we've done so far. And do not copy and paste from the internet. You guys already know my pet peeve is that, but also it's plagiarism and you'll just fail. So I hope that you actually take that quiz seriously and that you do it to the best of your ability. So with that being said, the main points I want you to get for the end of World War I is that this is the setup for World War II, basically, and for the Great Depression, which is going to be your next assignment for next week. How we handle World War I and how it's over is going to immediately set up how World War II starts. And so the first thing is that we are childish and the Allies point fingers at Germany and say, it's all your fault. And they claim that Germany starts this whole war. They're the ones who, instigate Austria-Hungary in the first place. And they say that if Germany had not done that, then the war wouldn't have started. And so they point all the fingers and all the blame towards Germany. Secondly, the reparations. Reparations, base of the word being repair, is money that the Allies forced Germany and other countries in Europe to pay for all the damages from World War I. Because of these millions of dollars and billions of dollars in reparations, we are going to force Germany's economy into a downturn of so many spirals, and the rest of the world too. We force these reparations on Germany because we loaned all these other countries so much money for their materials. So remember when the United States was hesitant to jump into the World War because they didn't really have a dog in the fight, and so they just kept loaning materials. Well, all of those ammunition and boats and planes and all of that costs money. And even though the Allies won, Britain, France, Italy, they're all war-torn from destruction because Germany bombed the crap out of them. And so they are, having to pay for their own repairs. And so they're like, we have the bright idea of let's make Germany pay for all of those. And so when doing so, Germany doesn't have billions of dollars on hand to pay for all these reparations and damages. So they begin loaning money from the U.S. government as well. So now everybody's borrowing money from the U.S. government. And the U.S. is making a fat paycheck right now. And that's the roaring 20s, where the U.S. economy is just booming and everyone needs us to help them because we're not as bad off as everyone else. And then it all goes south. And we'll talk more about that next week's assignments with the Great Depression. But right now, everyone's borrowing money from the United States in the roaring 20s, and our economy is booming. However, Germany's industry is destroyed. So how is Germany supposed to make money? All of their coal fields, all of their territory with industry was repossessed by France, as you'll read. And so also all their territory, all their colonies in Africa that they were using for raw materials, those get taken away. The Sudetenland around Czechoslovakia they were using, gone, returned. And so everything that Germany had to rebuild itself is taken away from them. So it becomes this situation of how can we expect Germany to really repay the damages if we remove every means they have to do so? We take away their industry and give it back to France, not like their physical factories, but the territory that had the raw materials, would take away their colonies in Africa, which they were using for raw materials for their industry. And also, they are forced to demilitarize. So meaning, and this is not just Germany, but everyone in the Treaty of Versailles is limited to only 100,000 men enlisted in the army. And if you think about it, for a whole nation's defense, 100,000 men really isn't that much. And also, we're restricted as far as war machines and construction of those, such as tanks, artillery, things like that. We can't do that anymore. And also, Austria and Germany are not allowed to be friends. Like, literally, part of the treaty is that Germany and Austria cannot be friends anymore. And so that is going to lead to the Austro-Hungarian Empire also being broken up, and new countries are created out of that. And then lastly, one of the last things on that assignment is the League of Nations. So the League of Nations is the United Nations organization that was formed before the UN. So it was basically like this, think of it like the Avengers in a way. It was supposed to be this group of nations that was going to fight together to prevent another world war from happening. And by joining this organization, we're going to prevent all types of future conflict that was like this, or can be like this, because World War I was more of a, you know, I don't even know how to say it, like destructive, I guess, experience than they ever thought. Because if you remember when these countries first went into this, they thought they had it in the bag and that war was going to be an adventure and war was going to be fun. And war sucked. And it was a lot of murder, and the technology made murder even more awful. And war was not a paradise that they thought it was. So the League of Nations forms, and it was the idea of the United States, but ironically, the United States doesn't even join the League of Nations because, on second thought, they think it's not a good idea. So that was us being hypocritical. But the League of Nations ends up being very weak as a result of that, obviously because the whole goal of preventing another world war wasn't achieved because of World War II. So these are the main things that the Treaty of Versailles sets us up for failure, basically, for World War II, because 1, we blame all the guilt on Germany. 2, we take away everything from Germany that they could have potentially used to rebuild itself and repay us of the money that they had loaned from us, or the money that they had to repay the other countries. So how can we expect Germany to really bounce back from all this if we take away every means that they have to do so? And that includes colonies, territory, industry, etc. We take away their partnership. Austria and Germany can't be friends. And then the League of Nations is set up, but it's ultimately weak because one of the biggest superpowers in the world, the United States, whose idea it was, refuses to join. So you're going to complete that worksheet that goes over each of those elements of the Treaty of Versailles and how it led to the World War II, basically, but also how it's going to lead us into conflict later. So that's the first assignment, and then the second one is the Google Forms quiz where you answer just overarching questions about World War I that we've talked about. That way I can make sure that you're understanding where we've been and where we're going up until this point. And I know, guys, that this is extremely hard. I'm not with you there every day to answer your questions, or I'm not there to see you every day to make sure that you're still picking up where we left off. And if you're one of the ones that's doing all of these assignments at once and that you're just trying to knock it out, I understand, because you're a teenager, you want to, have the other time to kind of chill or work your part-time job if it's still open. But I encourage you, don't let this stuff go in one ear and out the other, because when we come back, we're going to have to hit it hard. AP has not released information yet about the test as far as when we're going to be AP testing, but that's supposed to be on Friday, but I'll tell y'all about that when it comes. But just don't let your motivation and your learning fall to the wayside, because when we come back, we're going to have to hit the ground running, and I'll have maybe 1 or 2 days of review, but after that, we're going to really have to just keep going and keep moving, because we have to pass the AP test, and that's been our goal from August, and it's still our goal now, despite circumstances that we can't control. So just make sure that you are continuing your own learning, continuing the pace of your learning, and that you are going to be ready to pick up where we left off when we get back. And I hope that all of you are safe and well, and just send me a text to let me know that you're okay. So have a good second week, or a good second day if you're doing these all at once. But yeah, I love y'all, and I miss y'all, and have a good week.